Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. Are you prepared for what you've asked for? There's a quote, man, I remember reading this a while back by Bobby Unser, right? And it says, success is where preparation and opportunity meet. You know, and I've heard different versions of this, man. I've even heard Nipsey Hussle say this in one of his songs, and other people say this in different words. But that's important, man. It's true. It's a true statement. Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. I can remember this, man, like it was yesterday, brothers. I can remember I was in the 8th grade playing football. And I can remember this is the stage where I was kind of transitioning to want to be a running back. You know, I was playing DB and some other defensive positions, and I wanted to get the ball, right? So I can remember being like a backup running back. Hallsville, Texas, man. I remember it was like a Thursday night. And they finally called my number, man. They finally called my play, and I was lit. And it was straight up the middle, just like I like, man, because I like playing hard-nosed football, right? I like going straight at them, right? I can remember they called my number, and I can remember getting the ball, going up the middle, and I can remember making one or two moves, and, brother, I saw nothing but daylight after that. And I'm running the ball, man. I'm probably running 30, 40 yards, and I'm probably about 20 yards from the end zone, nobody around me, right? And the craziest thing happened. In the middle of the play, I could just remember looking around, seeing nobody around me, seeing nothing but goalposts in front of me, man. And it felt foreign to me. It felt like something I had never planned on experiencing. And in this fog, in the middle of the play, I can remember fumbling the ball, brothers. Nobody had touched me the entire play. Nobody was around me. Nothing but real estate between me and the end zone, and I fumbled it. And I remember turning back around, trying to get the ball. The defense had covered the ball. And I ain't gonna lie, brother, for years, I was trying to understand, like, what my mindset was. Like, why did that happen, right? And this morning, I'm up at 0 dark 30, man, reading. And I'm reading The Richest Man in Babylon, right? Which is by George Clayson. And there's a quote in here I read, man. And it says, opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. And when I read that this morning, brother, I instantly went back to that play several years ago, man. And I was saying to myself, you know, like all the times, you know, when I was getting ready to be in that position, you know, in my mind, all I saw was, you know, me tucking the ball and running over somebody. All I saw was me putting a juke or a spin move on somebody. All I saw was me giving somebody the Heisman. I never imagined myself actually crossing the threshold of the end zone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, a lot of people are doing that in our everyday lives, man. Like, we're setting goals, we're trying to reach certain feats. But to be honest, we're not really preparing ourselves for what we're really asking for, you know? I can even think back to like my professional career. Several years ago, man, I worked at a company. I'm gonna tell you this. When it comes to like manifesting a job, brother, I have that down packed. My last 2 or 3 jobs in my professional career, brother, I wouldn't even qualify for them. And I got these jobs. But this is what happened, man. I worked for a company in East Texas some years ago called Key Energy, man. Trucking company, disposal company. And I can remember in my mind seeing myself get this job, going up to the company, walking around, looking in the windows like I always talk about, and landing this gig, right? And I can remember as soon as I got the job, district manager, I'm sitting there, I'm over several facilities, I'm over several employees, and I'm sitting down the first week on my job, and I'm twiddling my thumbs because, brother, I don't even know how we make money at this point in time. Like, I kind of halfway know what we do, but I don't even know the process of us selling our services for a profit. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, bro, like I asked for this, but did I think this through? Like, was I prepared for this? And I'll be honest, my first year, the first 6 months, brother, I was in the dark. My first year, my numbers were flat. But after that, man, I recalibrated myself, man, and went off and started setting record numbers, you know. I can even remember my last job, brother. The exact same thing happened, man. And I swung for the fence, man. I swung for, you know, I wanted to you know, as far as my career, man, I wanted to shoot for the stars, brother. And I landed a gig once again that I wasn't prepared for, you know. And I can remember getting this job, and I can remember the first month of just like twiddling my thumbs, like, okay, what do I do now? You know, I can remember in my mind, I saw how things will play out. I can remember having all these meetings with these, you know, Fortune 500 corporate people, and man, I was meeting people that have started, you know, their business from scratch, and now we're multimillionaire. I met all these people that I saw in my mind before I got the job. But when I got there, it was almost like I didn't know what to do now that I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was twiddling my thumbs. Same thing happened again. I had to recalibrate. And after that, brother, I started setting record numbers. But I'm telling you, man, a lot of us aren't prepared for what we're asking for. A lot of us aren't prepared for what, for example, even there, you know, there's a lot of us that are saying, you know what, I want to be on my own. I want to start my own business. I want to be an entrepreneur, right? And it's like, okay, that's my goal. Like, that's my vision. That's my mission. And I'm gonna tell you this, man, it's easy for somebody to go downtown and get a tax ID. It's easy for somebody to, you know, get an LLC. It's easy for somebody to go start a business banking account. It's easy for somebody to go get a storefront and put products in it. But it's difficult. It takes a lot more work to be a successful business person, right? Like you don't think about, you know, when you think about being on your own, you don't think about going from working 8 or 9 hours a day to now putting in, you know, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. You know, you don't go from thinking saying, oh, I'm gonna work Monday through Friday to now understanding you have to work 7 days a week. You don't plan for having to tell your brothers, man, or tell your sisters, like, hey, like, I would love to go out and drink a few brewskis with you. I would love to go out and sip on a few mimosas. But like the way my life is set up now, like I can't move like that no more, right? Like I'm on a whole different page, man. A lot of people aren't preparing for that end goal. It's common now, man, for us to not be prepared for what we're really asking for. Even in relationships, man. I don't care what kind of content people are making. At some point in time, every man or woman is going to desire a 5% person in their life, right? Everybody is going to desire, you know, a high quality, virtuous, upstanding man, whatever, in their lives. And I'm gonna tell you, man, even as a man, you know, if you're a man and you're desiring this, let's say a 5% woman shows up in your life, right? Like you requested that, but are you really prepared for that? And what I mean is, like, are you a man that's tied to your purpose? Because if you aren't tied to your purpose, brother, I am telling you, it doesn't matter what caliber of woman comes in your life. It's not going to work. If you aren't tied to your purpose, then that woman is always going to be a distraction. She's always going to be a headache. She's always going to be a barrier or a wall between you and what your goal is, especially if you're unaware that you need to be tied into that, right? You know, are you a leader? You know, a certain quality, a certain caliber woman shows up. It's like, are you prepared to lead her? Are you prepared to procreate with her and have children and lead them? You know, do you have the right mindset for a 5% woman? You know, last night in the power circle, man, if your brother's not part of the power circle, man, I'm telling you, you're missing out. Last night we were covering the law of gender in the Kabbalion, right? And really, you know, the law of gender, you know, you have to understand that the law of gender, you know, well, when you're talking about gender, period, it has very little to do with man and woman, right? You know, it's simply about polar opposites. But you can't read about the law of gender and not see the dynamic, the beauty of a relationship, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't know anything about female nature, You read it from a scientific standpoint, and brother, female nature, everything will line up, everything will make sense, brother, because it's all the same, you know. And I can remember last night, brothers, we were talking about certain aspects of the male and female and how they cohabitate and how they create and all this stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, brothers, there came a point in time in the conversation, you know, because it's iron sharpening iron. It's every brother giving his feedback, and we're just bouncing off. And there came a point in time, man, where brothers were talking, and it got kind of foggy for me, man. And I was sitting there, and it was that same feeling of me running the ball back in 8th grade, like we were talking about some things that didn't seem so familiar to me, man. And I kind of just zoned out. And I remember toward the end of the call, I told my brothers, man, I said, you know what, brothers? I said, I've learned a lot about myself in this conversation, right? I said, I've learned that, you know, like there's been some times in my life where I thought I was right. Like you couldn't tell me that what I was doing, what I was saying wasn't right. I said, and I'm understanding now that, like, bro, I may have been wrong. Like I may have been in left field and didn't know it, man. You know, so a lot of brothers, you know, are asking for 5% women. And when they show up, you know, maybe everything is in order. Maybe your purpose is right. Maybe the bag is right. Maybe you're a leader, but maybe something else is off, man. But the same thing goes for women too. You know, a lot of sisters are like, you know, where all the good men at? I want a man like this. I want this, right? And that man shows up and that sister has no idea what to do, right? Because you got to understand, a sister may go, you know, she may grow up cute and fine, and I always had brothers coming at her. But her whole life, she might have had nothing but Pookies and Ray Rays coming at her. You know, brothers might have wanted to smash, but none of these brothers were talking about building something and bringing her on board to be part of his team, part of his legacy, right? You know, she might be out with her girls and having brunch, or they might go to the bar, they might go dancing, whatever they do. And it seems like all the brothers that are coming up to her, man, or brothers that are in relationships, brothers that are married, brothers that are tied up doing this, or brothers that are cheaters, right? So that's all she knows, right? Even though she's asking for a 5% man. So a 5% man shows up, you know, and he's talking about he's talking about stuff that's almost foreign to her. He's coming at her from a different angle. He's talking about building. He's talking about some real stuff. And she freezes. You know, she'll freeze up because she doesn't have anywhere to place this man. You know, her boxes so far consist of the Pookies and Ray Rays. Her box consists of the men that are already tied up or that are emotionally unavailable or whatever else, right? So she takes this man and she's like, well, I don't know what to do with him because I've never seen it. So what she does, she places him in a miscellaneous box, right? Then she sprinkles a few labels on him that she's picked up from the past and said, you know what, since I don't really know what he's talking about, I'm just going to label him as miscellaneous and throw a few tags on him, not knowing that she's throwing a whole 5% man away. I'm telling you, it happens, man. A lot of people are asking for things, but they aren't prepared for what they're asking for. I'm going to read this again. It says, opportunity is a haughty goddess, which means opportunity is stuck up. Like opportunity is snooty. Like opportunity is like if opportunity opens the door and you ain't ready, it's like, okay, you ain't ready. Boom, I'm closing the door. It says opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. So all I'm saying, brothers, all I'm saying, sisters, is that when opportunities present themselves, like we have to be in position, like we have to be prepared, right? And how do we do this? 2 steps. We have to go to the end, and then we have to alter our prayers, right? What do you mean, soul? In 1951, man, Neville wrote one of my favorite works of his, minus The Resurrection, which is my favorite. He wrote a book called Feeling is the Secret. And in that book, he talked about going to the end. In other words, a lot of us are entry level manifestors, right? A lot of us just do enough, creating in our minds to get to the threshold, to get the doors open. But none of us, but very few of us are manifesting lives, at the very end. You know what I'm saying? For example, there are a lot of men. There are a lot of men that make it to the NFL. Some of them are first round draft picks, right? But instantly their careers just flop, right? First round draft pick, all of a sudden their career is over after 1 or 2 years, right? It's because these men have the mentality of getting to the NFL as opposed to like being a Pro Bowler or being a Hall of Famer. There are several people that want to be entrepreneurs, man, and they go and get the business, they get the LLC and all this stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, they fall off. But because they had entry level thinking, right? They didn't go to the end. They didn't see themselves as 6-figure or 7-figure business or dollar earners, right? They just went to the threshold. You have a lot of men, you have a lot of women that want to, that want to bring 5% people in their lives, right? But at the same time, they aren't conducting themselves like husbands or like wives. It's easy to get to the state where you can bring solid people in your life, right? It's like, yeah, I want to be able to attract a virtuous woman, an upstanding, righteous man. But it's like, have I gone to the end? Like, have I prepared for what I've asked for? They've showed up. Am I conducting myself like a husband or wife now? A lot of us are selling ourselves short by again, just manifesting lives that get us through the threshold. And I'm telling you, you'll get to the threshold and look around and you're not prepared for what has showed up, man. So once you understand that, once you go to the end, what you do then is you have to alter your prayer. And I don't mean, you've heard me talk about prayer a number of times. I'm not saying, okay, now go in a corner and just start asking for a different thing. Oh, Father God, thank you. I want something else now. You have to alter your state. You have to understand what prayer is. Prayer is everything. Prayer is the creation process. Prayer is stepping into a state and never coming out. Stepping into a state and never coming out. Don't you think that a Vince Young and a Deion Sanders, don't you think both of these brothers conduct themselves completely different? Don't you think, this Pro Bowl brother walks, talks, conducts themselves, his actions, everything are different than a brother that just comes in the NFL and quickly falls off? Don't you think, the behaviors and the actions of a brother that just starts a business is a lot different than a man that's making several dollars per year? It's a difference. And again, it's no different than somebody who wants to bring a person in their life, but they aren't acting like the end goal. They aren't acting like the husband or the wife in a situation. I'm telling you, man, a lot of us have to go to the end of what we're creating, and we have to alter our prayer because, again, most people are just entry-level manifestors. They aren't going to the end. They aren't really prepared for what they're asking for. I'm going to read it again, man. I'm going to read it again because it's crucial. It says, opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time for those who are unprepared.